Okay, quick show of hands. How many of you have heard of inertia before? I see quite a few. Actually, this is probably the most common element of inertia in our natural system world we have today. So what is it, you ask? Leonardo Fibonacci actually came up with this idea while trying to calculate the ideal reproduction patterns of rabbits. So what he did is actually found that if you start with the number 0 and you start with 0, then you add 1 as, where is, you add 1 here. The next number is, the third number is the sum of the previous two. So as you see here, 1 is the sum of 0 and 1, 2 is the sum of 1 and 1, 3 is the sum of 2 and 1, and so on, and this goes on until infinity. After calculating this out, he actually found a ratio. It's 1 to 1.618, etc. And this ratio, he actually found that it exists in so many different elements of the world, from nature to science to the human body. And I'm going to give you a few examples of those today and show you how you can find the golden ratio in all of your lives. Also, this calculation can be gathered here, and when the golden ratio is extended, it actually creates a spiral. For example, here we have 1 and 2, which creates 3. 3 and 2 creates 5. 5 and 3 creates 8. 8 and 13, 8 and 5, and so on. And this creates the logarithmic spiral. This shape as a rectangle is exactly what I just explained to you. This can be seen in seed heads. As you see, seed heads, they start here in the middle, and then they actually start to spiral out this way. And the, seed heads that start in the middle spiral out that way and become 21. And this can be found in sunflowers, a bunch of different other seeds, and flower petals. This, despite the many different types of flowers, there is inertia to be found in the golden ratio. 5 appears here, and actually shown in this lily here, each of the petals are placed at exactly the ratio of 0.168, etc. on a 300-degree circle. So it doesn't matter how many petals they have, whether it's 3, 4, 5, a billion, it's going to always be put at this angle. Probably not a billion though. It's shown in pine cones. Pine cones are just a compilation of spirals shown here. The number of steps will almost always match a pair of consecutive Mr. F numbers. For example, a 3-5 cone is always set up and back after 3 steps along with the left spiral. Trees, the growth patterns of trees, despite the species of tree, despite how big it is, trees always grow. They start here until they branch off. Once they do create a branch, then they grow until it's reached the sum of the last 2 spaces here. Then they'll recreate, and you see a branch will go until it reaches the sum of the last two spaces. And actually the branches, they trade off in between one another. That's how it keeps itself healthy. That's how, if it loses, if you cut this off, it actually still has energy growing on the opposite side. Inertia can be found in trees. In space, actually. As you see, well, this is primarily true in spiral galaxies. And the Milky Way shows this at 12 degrees. At about 1925, astronomers, they originally thought that the dispersion of stars or planets, whatever that's in those galaxies, actually is correlated to how close it is to the center as far as how quickly it goes. In that case, then the outside ones would actually wrap around this, but they did not find that. They actually found that these rotations stay consistent with the golden ratio, and so it keeps its form. In nature, you see the golden ratio played out in wind and wave. Despite the size of the wave, it always follows this logarithmic spiral. In nature. Also, shells, you can see it here. You can see the spiral enacted here, and that is seashells, snail shells. Even the horns of goats have this. In animals, you can see the golden ratio enacted here. You see in dolphins, in here, this is not the dorsal fin. The big fin is 0.618, etc. of the entire body. This can be seen in ants and bees. And also, when a hawk or an eagle approaches its prey, the best vantage point is actually at the ratio of 6.18. It doesn't matter how high they are, how quick they're going. Faces. Faces can be seen here in the golden ratio, and everyone's face has this. In the interest of time, I have to hurry up. Okay. Also, people have seen this beauty scale. This beauty scale was constructed using the same ratios from the golden ratio, and I can send you more information on that. The cycle of life. Okay, in the cycle of life, the study was conducted taking the uteruses of 5,000 women, and they actually found that throughout their lifetime, the size of it at birth is around 2, the ratio between the width and the length of a woman's uterus, and actually, and at an old age, therefore 1.46. However, during the most fertile time of a woman's age, it actually is exactly 1.6, which is the ratio. Also, in our DNA shows the length and the width of our DNA follows the golden ratio. In our limbs of our fingers, your hands are approximately 1 to, as self-explanatory here, and also this spiral is shown in all fingerprints, although all our fingerprints are unique. In our fingers here, you see the ratio shown here. In art, our famous artists, they understood this principle and they implemented it in our famous art. Have you seen Mona Lisa? This guy. Sonic the Hedgehog. People are like serious about it. And
come on.
People found in our craziest creatures. That is the inertia that rules life. Some people say it's the creator's favorite ratio. I encourage you to do more research on yourself, and I have tons of it. Thank you.